Today, we're exploring 7 Stoic strategies for winning without fighting. These aren't manipulations or tricks. They're profound shifts in how you operate that make you effectively undefeatable. Not because you're the strongest fighter, but because you're playing a different game entirely, one where fighting is unnecessary. As Epictetus taught, if anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." This is the essence of winning without fighting, such grounded confidence that attacks bounce off harmlessly. Let's explore how to master this art. Strategy 1. Refuse to accept the battle framework. The power of non-engagement. The first and most fundamental strategy. When someone tries to pick a fight with you, whether physical, verbal, professional, or social, refuse to accept the framework that this is a fight you need to engage in. Most people, when attacked, immediately accept the premise. This is a fight, and I must defend myself or counterattack. They've already lost by accepting the framework. They're now playing a game defined by their opponent, on terrain chosen by their opponent, following rules set by their opponent. The Stoic refuses this framework entirely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This isn't just philosophy, it's supreme strategy. If you don't accept that you've been harmed, the attack fails at a fundamental level. Consider what happens in different scenarios. Someone insults you publicly. Most people either fight back, escalating the conflict, or retreat, appearing wounded. The Stoic does neither. They remain completely unaffected, perhaps even slightly amused, as if the insult was directed at someone else entirely. The insult hangs in the air, but it has no target.
The attacker looks foolish for attacking someone who clearly isn't bothered.
Someone challenges your competence at work. Most people defend themselves aggressively or submit meekly. The Stoic says calmly, "That's an interesting perspective. My results speak for themselves." No defense, no attack, just redirection to objective reality. The challenge fails because there's nothing to push against. Someone tries to provoke you into anger. Most people get angry, proving they can be controlled, or suppress anger visibly, proving they're bothered. The Stoic genuinely doesn't get angry because they've recognized the provocation as a manipulation attempt, and manipulation doesn't work on someone who sees it clearly. The practice. Recognize the invitation to fight. When someone attacks, provokes, or challenges you, pause and observe. This person is inviting me to fight. Do I need to accept this invitation? Usually, the answer is no. Question the premise. Ask yourself, why would I fight about this? What do I actually gain from engaging? Often you'll realize the only gain is ego satisfaction, which the Stoics recognized as worthless. Respond from a different frame. Instead of accepting the fight frame, respond from a completely different frame. Curiosity. That's interesting. Tell me more about why you think that. Indifference. You might be right, said with genuine lack of investment in whether you're right or wrong. Redirection. That's one perspective. Here's what I'm focused on. Let silence do the work. Sometimes the most powerful response to an attack is no response at all. Comfortable, untroubled silence. The attacker expects reaction. When they get none, they're deflated. Reframe internally. See attacks not as threats, but as information about the attacker. This person is insecure and trying to feel powerful by attacking me. That's unfortunate for them. This reframe removes any emotional charge.
The result. When you refuse to accept the battle framework, the attack fails automatically, an attack without a target accomplishing nothing. Your opponent has thrown their best punch at air. You conserve all your resources. Time, energy, emotional equilibrium all remain intact while your opponent has spent theirs. You look strong to observers. People respect the person who can't be provoked far more than the person who fights every battle. Your opponent often self-destructs. Watching their attacks fail, they often escalate in frustration, making themselves look increasingly unreasonable while you remain calm. You maintain your peace. This is the ultimate victory. Your internal state remains undisturbed regardless of external attacks. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay, but the greatest remedy for conflict is refusing to agree that conflict exists." Strategy 2. Let your excellence be your only argument. The undeniable power of results. The second strategy is perhaps the most powerful. Instead of defending yourself with words, let your results speak so loudly that words become unnecessary. This is winning without fighting because your excellence renders the fight irrelevant. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. As emperor, he could have argued, debated, and defended his decisions constantly. Instead, he focused on governing well and let the results of good governance speak for themselves. People who questioned his competence were answered not by his words, but by the prosperity and stability of the empire. This strategy operates on a simple truth. Results are objective, while arguments are subjective. You can debate endlessly about who's better, who's right, who deserves what. But when one person consistently delivers exceptional results and the other doesn't, the debate becomes irrelevant. Consider different applications. In professional settings, someone claims you're not qualified or capable. Instead of defending your credentials, you simply continue doing exceptional work. 6 months later, your track record is so strong that their claim looks ridiculous in retrospect. You won without ever engaging the argument. In creative fields, someone criticizes your work publicly. Instead of defending or counterattacking, you create something even better. Your improvement is your response. Let quality silence criticism. In business, competitors claim they're superior. Instead of marketing battles and trash talk, you focus on serving customers exceptionally well. Your growing market share is your only statement. In personal life, someone questions your character or choices. Instead of explaining yourself, you live with such obvious integrity that over time, their questions answer themselves. The practice. Redirect energy from defense to creation. Every minute spent defending yourself is a minute not spent creating something excellent. When attacked, immediately ask, how can I channel this energy into making something better? Keep receipts without flashing them. Track your results, accomplishments, and progress, not to brag, but to have objective evidence when needed. Most of the time, you won't need to show anyone. Your confidence comes from knowing the results exist. Let others discover your excellence. The most powerful form of reputation is what others say about you when you're not in the room. Focus on being excellent. Let others do the talking. Respond to doubt with demonstration. When someone doubts you can do something, don't argue, do it, then let the completed work be your response. Build a body of work that speaks for itself. One masterpiece is worth more than 1,000 arguments about whether you're a master. Create the proof rather than defending the claim. Maintain indifference to criticism. Epictetus taught, if someone criticizes you, agree with them immediately. Say, if you knew all my faults, these would seem minor. This removes the sting from criticism and redirects focus to your actual work. The result. When you let excellence be your only argument, critics become irrelevant. They can say whatever they want. Your results contradict them more powerfully than any words could. You avoid pointless debates. While others argue about who's best, you're busy becoming best. By the time they finish arguing, you've already won. Respect grows automatically. People respect demonstrated competence far more than claimed competence. Show, don't tell, and showing requires no fighting. Your confidence becomes unshakable. It's based on objective reality, your results, rather than subjective opinion, what you think or others think. This can't be undermined. Energy compounds into more success. The energy others waste on conflict, you invest in excellence. Over time, this creates an exponential gap. Seneca wrote, "Everywhere means nowhere." Applied here, fighting everywhere means winning nowhere. Focus everywhere on excellence means winning everywhere that actually matters. Strategy 3. Make your opponent's aggression work against them. The principle of Aikido. The third strategy draws from martial arts wisdom, but applies universally. Instead of meeting force with force, redirect your opponent's force so it defeats them. This is the essence of Aikido, using the attacker's momentum against them. The Stoics practiced this mentally and socially. When someone attacked them with anger, they responded with calm, making the attacker look unhinged by contrast. When someone attacked with lies, they responded with simple truth, making the lies obvious. When someone attacked with arrogance, they responded with humility, making the arrogance repellent. In each case, the attacker's own energy creates their downfall. You don't need to fight. You just need to not be what they're attacking, which makes their attack miss and often rebound on them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This is Aikido applied to life. When someone is cruel, be kind. When someone is dishonest, be truthful. When someone is loud, be quiet. The contrast makes their negative behavior more visible and less effective. The practice. Respond to anger with calm. When someone comes at you with rage, your measured, calm response makes them look unreasonable. Their anger becomes their problem, not yours. You win by simply not matching their energy. Respond to lies with simple truth. Don't get drawn into complex refutations. State simple facts calmly, then stop. The truth has power that no lie can match, and your calm delivery makes the truth more credible. Respond to arrogance with quiet competence. The arrogant person is overcompensating for insecurity. Your genuine competence, delivered without fanfare, makes their arrogance look hollow. Respond to manipulation with transparency. When someone tries to manipulate you, calmly state what they're doing. "It seems like you're trying to make me feel guilty, so I'll do what you want." This meta-communication disrupts the manipulation entirely. Respond to attacks with questions. Instead of defending, ask genuine questions. What leads you to that conclusion? Can you help me understand your reasoning? This often causes attackers to realize their position is weak without you having to prove it. Let time be your ally. Often the best response to an attack is patience. Let the attacker exhaust themselves while you remain steady. Time reveals who was right without you having to argue about it. The result: when you make aggression work against itself, your opponent defeats themselves. Their attacks miss the target and often hurt their own reputation more than yours. You appear reasonable to observers. The contrast between their aggression and your calm makes you look good without you having to do anything. You conserve energy completely. Redirecting takes minimal energy compared to fighting. You're barely exerting yourself while they exhaust themselves. The attacker often becomes frustrated and escalates. This makes them look worse and worse while you continue looking composed and reasonable. You demonstrate mastery. The ability to remain calm under attack signals to everyone that you're operating at a higher level. Epictetus taught, if someone criticizes you, consider whether their criticism is justified. If it is, correct yourself. If it isn't, ignore it. This is pure Aikido. Use valid criticism for growth. Let invalid criticism pass through without effect. Strategy 4. Operate from abundance while they operate from scarcity. The power of not needing to win. The fourth strategy is psychological. Operate from such internal abundance that you don't need to win any particular battle. This mindset is so powerful that most conflicts simply don't affect you, and the few that do, you handle with ease. Most conflict comes from scarcity mindset. If they win, I lose. If they get respect, I lose respect. If they succeed, I fail. This zero-sum thinking makes every interaction a battle. The person operating from abundance thinks differently. There's enough success, respect, and opportunity for everyone. Their wins don't diminish me. Seneca, despite being wealthy, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." He understood that internal abundance, sufficiency, is more powerful than external wealth. The person who feels sufficient doesn't need to fight for more. This shows up in specific behaviors. They can genuinely celebrate others' success. While scarcity-minded people feel threatened by others' wins, abundance-minded people are happy for them. This generosity of spirit makes them attractive, while scarcity makes others repellent. They can walk away from bad deals. When you're abundant, you don't need any particular deal. This gives you enormous negotiating power. The person who can walk away gets the best terms. They don't compete for status. Status games are scarcity-based. There are limited spots at the top. Abundant people ignore status games entirely, which paradoxically gives them more genuine respect. They share knowledge freely. Scarcity-minded people hoard knowledge, fearing others will surpass them. Abundant people teach freely, knowing their value isn't diminished by others' growth. They don't take attacks personally. When you're abundant, attacks don't threaten your sense of self. You know who you are, you're secure in your worth, so others' opinions, even hostile ones, don't disturb you. The practice: build genuine self-sufficiency. Financial independence, emotional stability, skill development. Work toward not needing any particular person, job, or outcome. This removes desperation from your decisions. Practice gratitude daily. Seneca advised cataloging what you have rather than focusing on what you lack. This trains your mind toward abundance. I have health, skills, relationships, freedom. I'm rich in what matters. Celebrate others' success genuinely. Make this a practice. When someone succeeds, feel happy for them. This rewires your brain away from competition and toward abundance. Develop multiple options in every area. Multiple income streams, multiple relationships, multiple paths to your goals. Options create abundance. Dependence on a single path creates scarcity. Release attachment to specific outcomes. Prefer certain results, but don't need them. The Stoics called this preferred indifference. You can prefer wealth to poverty without being attached to wealth. Apply this everywhere. Remind yourself of life's vastness. Marcus Aurelius practiced the view from above, imagining life from space across time. This perspective reveals how small most conflicts are. Most battles that seem huge are actually trivial. The result: when you operate from abundance, conflicts become irrelevant. Most fights are over resources, real or perceived. When you don't need any particular resource, most fights don't concern you. Negotiating power multiplies. The party that needs the deal less gets better terms. Your abundance gives you the power to walk away, which means you rarely need to. Relationships improve dramatically. People feel your non-neediness and are attracted to it. Scarcity repels. Abundance attracts. Your decisions improve. Choices made from abundance are different than choices made from desperation. You choose what's actually best rather than what's merely available. Peace becomes your default state. When you're not fighting for scraps, when you know you have enough, internal conflict dissolves. This peace is power. Epictetus taught, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The person with few wants is rich, powerful, and largely unbothered by conflicts that consume others. Strategy 5. Choose your battles with ruthless selectivity. The strategy of strategic withdrawal. The fifth strategy is about wisdom in choosing which battles to fight and which to completely ignore. Most people fight everything, every slight, every challenge, every disagreement. The Stoic fights almost nothing, which means when they do engage, they do so with overwhelming force and focus. Marcus Aurelius managed an empire, yet his journals reveal a man who declined to engage in most conflicts. He asked himself constantly, is this necessary? Does this serve virtue? Is this worth my time and energy? Usually, the answer was no. He conserved his resources for the few battles that truly mattered. This selectivity is power. The person who fights everything is weak. They're scattered, exhausted, reactive. The person who fights almost nothing is strong. They're focused, energized, strategic. When they do engage, they bring everything they have, making them formidable. Consider the mathematics. If you fight 100 battles, you can invest 1% of your resources in each. You'll win some, lose some, but you'll be exhausted. If you fight 3 battles, you can invest 33% of your resources in each. You'll likely win all 3, and you'll still have energy left over. The practice. Develop clear criteria for engagement. Write down your standards. I only engage in conflicts that involve genuine threats to what I care about most: family safety, financial security, core values, health. Everything else gets ignored. Ask the key questions before engaging. Will this matter in 5 years? Does this involve one of my core values? Can I actually influence this outcome? Is this person worth my energy? What am I really fighting for, substance or ego? Practice strategic withdrawal. When someone baits you into conflict, recognize it for what it is and simply don't engage. Withdraw physically or psychologically. You don't need to announce you're withdrawing, just do it. Use the 24-hour rule. Before responding to anything provocative, wait 24 hours. Most things that seem urgent and battle-worthy in the moment reveal themselves as trivial when given time. Keep score of what you don't fight. Journal about conflicts you chose not to engage in. After a month, review the list and notice how few of these mattered in retrospect. This reinforces the wisdom of selectivity. Remember that not engaging is a choice. You're not being passive or weak, you're being strategic. Sun Tzu's supreme victory is to win without fighting, which requires choosing not to fight. The result. When you choose battles with ruthless selectivity, your win rate approaches 100%. You only fight battles you've evaluated and determined you can win. This creates a track record of success. Resources multiply. Energy saved from conflicts not fought compounds into energy available for what matters. Reputation strengthens. People learn you don't fight over trivialities, which makes the rare occasions when you do engage carry enormous weight. If they're fighting this, it must actually matter. Stress decreases dramatically. Most stress comes from being in constant conflict. Remove 95% of conflicts, and stress drops proportionally. You become unpredictable. People can't bait you into fights because they don't know what you consider worth fighting for. This unpredictability is strategic advantage. Seneca wrote, "If you wish to be loved, love." But he also could have written, "If you wish to win, stop fighting battles that don't matter. The path to more victories is fewer battles." Strategy 6. Master the long game while others play short games. The power of extended time horizons. The 6th strategy is about time. Extend your time horizons so far beyond your opponents that their short-term victories become irrelevant to your long-term success. This is winning without fighting because you're playing a different game entirely. Most conflicts are short-term. Who wins this argument, this deal, this position, this moment? The Stoic is playing a decades-long game where this moment barely registers. While their opponent exhausts themselves winning the battle, the Stoic positions for winning the war without engaging in the battle at all. Marcus Aurelius thought in terms of legacy and empire spanning time. Individual challenges that would make others fight desperately were, to him, momentary fluctuations in a much larger pattern. This perspective gave him enormous power. He could absorb losses that would destroy others because he was measuring success on a completely different timeline. The practice. Define your long game explicitly. What are you building over 10, 20, 30 years? Write it down. This becomes your North Star that makes short-term conflicts irrelevant. When conflict arises, zoom out. Ask, in the context of what I'm building over decades, does this conflict matter? Usually, it doesn't. This removes emotional charge immediately. Take losses that position you better long-term. The short-term player must win every encounter. The long-term player can afford to lose battles that position them better strategically. Sometimes letting someone win now sets up your victory later. Invest in asymmetric opportunities. Short-term players chase quick wins with limited upside. Long-term players invest in things that might take years but have unlimited upside. The compound difference over time is exponential. Build relationships across decades. While others network transactionally, you invest in genuine relationships that pay dividends for 30 years. These relationships become sources of opportunity that short-term players never access. Practice strategic patience. Epictetus taught, "No great thing is created suddenly." Remember this when others are frantically chasing immediate results. Your patience itself is competitive advantage. The result: when you master the long game, short-term conflicts become amusing. You see people fighting desperately over things that won't matter in a year. You can let them win these battles without caring. Compound interest works everywhere. Small, consistent advantages compound into enormous leads over years. The short-term player never gets this benefit. You attract quality people. Other long-term players recognize you and want to work with you. Short-term players are repelled by your unwillingness to play their games. This is excellent filtering. Stress from daily fluctuations disappears. When you're playing a 30-year game, today's problems are just noise. This perspective creates remarkable calm. You actually win the wars that matter. While others won battles, you won the war, not by fighting, but by playing a superior strategy. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." The person playing the long game uses life well and wins comprehensively without fighting most battles along the way. Strategy 7. Become so grounded that attacks don't register. The ultimate defense. The final strategy is the culmination of all others. Develop such deep internal grounding that attacks, insults, and provocations don't even register as things requiring response. This isn't suppression. You're not forcing yourself not to react. You genuinely don't react because at a fundamental level, you're unmoved. This is what Marcus Aurelius developed through years of Stoic practice. Insults, betrayals, attacks. He experienced them all as emperor. But his journals reveal a man who had trained himself to see these not as personal threats, but as natural phenomena like weather. Rain isn't attacking you, it's just raining. Similarly, difficult people aren't attacking you, they're just being who they are. This level of groundedness makes you effectively invincible in social and professional conflicts. You can't be baited, provoked, manipulated, or controlled because nothing gets past your inner fortress. You're so centered that external events genuinely don't disturb you. Epictetus, who knew actual physical chains as a slave, taught about freedom from psychological chains. If you wish to be free, desire nothing and no one that is not in your control. When you've eliminated all external dependencies, all needs for approval, all fears of disapproval, you're grounded in a way that makes you unassailable. The practice. Daily morning meditation. Marcus Aurelius practiced this. Each morning remind yourself, today I will encounter difficult people. This is natural. Their behavior reflects their character, not my worth. I remain unmoved. Practice the dichotomy of control religiously. Everything that disturbs you falls into two categories: things within your control, your responses, and things outside it, everything else. Train yourself to focus exclusively on the first category. Examine your attachments. What do you need to feel okay? Approval, success, being right? Each attachment is a vulnerability. Work to release attachments while maintaining preferences. Reframe attacks as information. When someone attacks you, see it as data about them, not about you. This person is insecure and trying to feel powerful. This removes personal sting. Build identity independent of external validation. Know who you are. Define your values. Live by them. Then others' opinions, positive or negative, become irrelevant to your sense of self. Practice voluntary discomfort. Cold showers, fasting, difficult exercises, regularly choose discomfort. This builds the psychological capacity to be unmoved by external difficulties. Visualize attacks before they happen. Practice premeditatio malorum, negative visualization. Imagine being insulted, attacked, criticized. Mentally rehearse remaining grounded. When it happens for real, you've already experienced it. The result: when you achieve this grounding, you become genuinely unshakable. Not performing strength, but actually strong. People sense this, and most don't even try to attack because they know it won't work. Conflicts dissolve around you. Your groundedness changes the energy of every interaction. People de-escalate naturally in your presence. Your peace becomes permanent, not dependent on circumstances, not contingent on others' behavior. You've achieved what the Stoics called ataraxia, unshakable tranquility. You can engage when necessary from complete calm. The few times you do need to address something, you do so from perfect composure, which makes you maximally effective. You've won the ultimate victory, not over others, but over yourself. You've achieved what Epictetus called freedom, mastery over your own mind and reactions.